Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're taking a shortcut to getting smart about a really interesting local market, Sioux Falls, South Dakota.
That's right.
We've got a pile of fresh data right here. It's the monthly indicators report for June 2025, straight from the real estate folks.
Yep, hot off the press.
And our mission really is to pull out the key stuff, the important nuggets, to help you get a real feel for the pulse of this pretty dynamic housing scene. You might be sitting there wondering, okay, what's actually going on the ground in Sioux Falls? Well, let's try and unpack that.
Absolutely. And this report, it's pretty comprehensive. It covers, everything from new listings, pending sales, right through to median prices, even housing affordability.
So it's a good snapshot.
It's a great snapshot. Tells us a lot about what buyers and sellers are up to right now.
Okay, so let's jump right in then. Looking at this June 2025 data for Sioux Falls, what are the big headlines? What kind of jumps out at you first?
Well, what's fascinating, I think, is you look at the national picture, U.S. existing home sales, they kind of edged up just slightly month over month, maybe 0.8%, but down year over year. But Sioux Falls, it's showing some pretty unique patterns here. The quick facts section kind of gives you the overview.
Yeah.
Closed sales up 6.0%, good activity there. But then median sales prices down 2.0%, and homes for sale down 22.0%.
Whoa, okay.
So those three numbers already, they paint a picture, more deals happening, but a much tighter supply of homes.
Yeah, that median sales price going down definitely catches the eye,
Right.
especially when, like, the national average home price went up 1.3% year over year.
Yeah.
What's going on there locally, do you think? Any initial thoughts?
That's a great observation, and it's definitely something we'll want to dig into more. It does suggest maybe a bit of a shift in the local market dynamics.
Different from the national trends.
Yeah, potentially quite different. Maybe the mix of home selling is different or something else is at play. It's worth watching.
Okay, so this is where it gets really interesting, right? Let's dig into some of these specific numbers. I'm looking at pending sales here.
All right.
And wow, this number seems pretty huge.
You're absolutely right to point that one out. Pending sales. For June 2025, they shot up by a massive 109.2%.
109%.
Yep. To 887 pending sales, compared to just 424 back in June 2024. And even looking year to date, it's up 37.4%.
So more than double the pending sales in just 1 month compared to last year.
Exactly. So think about what that means. It indicates this really significant surge in buyer activity, people making offers, getting them accepted. It's a very strong forward-looking indicator for the market.
All right, so people are definitely out there trying to buy.
Yeah.
Then, okay, look at new listings. They also went up 7.4% to 739 for June.
Right.
So you'd think, okay, more homes coming onto the market, that should ease things up a bit, right?
Right.
But then the inventory of homes for sale actually decreased by 22.0%, down to 1,560. How do those fit together? More listings, but fewer homes overall.
Yeah, that really gets to the heart of the supply and demand question, doesn't it? What seems to be happening is, even with more new listings coming online, that incredible surge in pending sales, that 109% increase, is just eating up that new inventory almost immediately, and then some.
Ah, okay, so they're being absorbed faster than they arrive?
Precisely. Buyers are snapping them up so quickly that the overall pool of available homes is shrinking, and that directly pushes down the month's supply of inventory,
Right.
which dropped significantly, down 34.5% to just 3.6 months in June. Last year, it was 5.5 months.
In 3.6 months. That's
Yeah.
low, right? That's seller territory.
Oh, absolutely. Generally, anything under maybe 5 or 6 months starts leaning toward a seller's market. 3.6 months indicates pretty strong demand relative to the available homes. It's competitive out there for buyers.
The supply, more deals happening fast. Okay,
Yeah.
now let's talk money again, because this is the bit that felt counterintuitive earlier. The median sales price. In June 2025, it decreased 2.0%. It was $320,166 celcles compared to $326,805 last June. And the average sales price was also down 3.8%. Given everything else, the low inventory, the high pending sales, why the dip?
It's definitely a point worth exploring. So yes, the median for the month of June dipped 2%. But if we look at the year-to-date median sales price for 2025, It's practically flat. It's up only 0.3%.
Oh, okay. So year to date, it's stable.
Pretty much stable, yeah.
Yeah.
$320,000 this year versus $318,900 for the first half of last year. So what this might suggest is that the market is perhaps stabilizing after a long period of really strong price growth.
Right. Prices went up a lot in recent years there.
It really did. I mean, historically, Sioux Falls saw median prices go from around, $203,000 back in 2018 up to nearly $320,000 by 2024. So seeing a small dip in 1 month or even just stabilization year to date, it doesn't necessarily mean a big reversal.
Could just be a pause, or maybe, like you said, the mix of home selling shifted a bit in June.
That's a definite possibility. Maybe more activity in slightly lower price brackets pulled the median down for that specific month. It's something to keep an eye on for sure.
And what about days on market until sale? How long are homes taking to sell? That also saw a little tick upwards, right? Up 1.2% to 83 days in June.
Correct. It's a small increase for the month, 83 days. And if you look year to date, the average is 92 days, which is up 7.0% from the first half of 2024.
So taking a little longer than maybe the absolute peak frenzy.
Exactly. It suggests homes are taking, a little longer to sell than when things were absolutely flying off the shelves. But 83 or 92 days is still a pretty reasonable time frame overall. Homes aren't just sitting there indefinitely.
Right.
And interestingly, despite homes taking slightly longer, the percent of original list price received stayed really stable. It was 97.9% for June.
So sellers are still getting very close to their asking price, generally.
Oh, yeah, almost 98%. That tells you that even with slightly longer market times, sellers still hold quite a bit of negotiating power. Buyers aren't getting huge discounts on average.
Okay, one last metric here that seems pretty important. The Housing Affordability Index. What does that tell us about Sioux Falls?
Yeah, the Affordability Index. This actually increased by 2.7%, reaching 113 for June 2025.
And higher is better for affordability, right?
That's right. An index of 113 means that the median household income in the area is actually 113% of the income needed to qualify for a mortgage on the median-priced home based on current rates and prices.
So the typical family earns more than enough to qualify.
13% more, yeah. So despite, all the activity and the price discussion, this suggests that housing in Sioux Falls is holding relatively steady, maybe even improving slightly, in terms of accessibility for people with local incomes. That's quite positive for potential buyers.
Okay, so let's try to pull this all together. What does this mean for you if you're watching the Sioux Falls market, maybe thinking of buying or selling or just curious?
We've seen this huge jump in pending sales, clearly strong buyer demand.
Massive demands, yeah.
But also inventory shrinking quite significantly. And for June, at least, the median sales price took a little dip, even though year-to-date it's pretty flat, and affordability looks okay, actually. Yeah, relatively stable or slightly better.
It's definitely a dynamic picture. Lots going on.
Exactly. It's a nuanced situation. You've got really strong demand hitting a tightening supply, even though more listings are trying to come on. The main takeaway, the Sioux Falls market is very, very active right now. Things are moving.
Okay, so here's a final thought then, something for you to chew on. If these pending sales keep up this, incredible pace, doubling year over year, and inventory stays tight or keeps shrinking, what does that really imply for prices down the road? Will that little dip in June just be a blip? Or is something else shifting? What do you think happens next? We've given you the numbers. Now it's your turn to connect those dots.
A good question to ponder.
That's all for this deep dive. We hope you feel a little more clued in on the Sioux Falls housing market.